Listen, I know you probably haven't heard because this is like the world's best kept secret, but apparently the Sephora VIB sale is happening like sometime soon. Kidding. I know that I am like the 57th video on the Sephora VIB sale you have seen in your YouTube feed probably today. I know because I'm watching them. But I wanted to share the products that I picked as well. I looked at all of my purchases in the past year and picked the absolute best products that I have so far from them. And then I also thought I'd share like the state of my current cart at Sephora. So let's go ahead and jump in. Starting with foundation, this was a hard one because I've tried quite a few recently. The one that I've talked about most recently is my Dior Air Flash. I mentioned this in my recent favorites video. It's not a new foundation by any means, it's just one that I have recently come back to, and it is every bit as good as I remembered it being, and maybe even more so. It's super light. It not only feels but looks like second skin down to the finish. It's not dewy by any means, but it's not totally matte. It's like this gorgeous satin, I'm wearing it today, gorgeous satin finish, and there's just nothing quite like it in terms of how thin it lays on the skin and yet how buildable and up to full coverage it is. But another foundation that I also very recently tried and is actually a first for me is the NARS Sheer Glow. This is like a long time cult classic. I bought it to try actually as part of a larger separate video because NARS has quite a few products that have just been around for ages, and so basically, I'm trying them to see if they have stood up to the test of time, and this is one that I bought because of that, but I hadn't tried it before, so I really had no preconceived notions as to, what to expect like I did the Dior. It's also very beautiful and very similar in terms of coverage and finish. It too, I mean, the name probably suggests this, Sheer Glow. It is sheer but still buildable to like medium to full-ish coverage, but it is a true glowy satin sort of finish to it. So I would say it's glowier than the Air Flash, comparable in coverage to the Air Flash, but still very thin while managing to accomplish all of those things. Then the third one, this one actually is new to me this year, and it is the Huda Beauty Glowish Multi-Dew Skin Tint. This is, of the three that I'm mentioning here today, the glowiest, also the least full coverage. I would say it's light to medium, buildable. Bought it before the summer because I was very into the idea of like a tinted moisturizer, and it truly is just that. I love the coverage it gives me, especially if you're going to go ahead and layer it with a concealer. It evens out your skin tone, and then when you use a more full coverage concealer, for me personally, to cover any under eye circles or blemishes, this gives a natural and radiant but still full feeling coverage to the skin. And it's just so glowy, which is what I've really been needing over the past few months as my skin has dried out like crazy from pregnancy. So I feel like the three of these are all very similar in the coverage and look they give to the skin. It just comes down to what kind of product you like working with, whether it is liquid or a spray, or what finish you want, whether it is ultra glowy, somewhat dewy, relatively, satin matte. You got something for everyone, and I stand behind all of these. My concealer pick is actually one that I just talked about in my Rose Ink review. It's the concealer from the collection, and I was just so impressed with the consistency and the coverage from this. A little bit goes a very long way, which for some reason I was a little shocked by. The whole brand gives me very much undone, unmade up vibes, and this concealer is pretty full coverage. So especially when I use it in conjunction with some of these, lighter coverage foundations, the two together give me a fuller coverage looking face without feeling like I'm wearing an absolute ton of makeup. So really love this. Love how it wears, especially in the under eye area. It's relatively hydrating, which, like I said, I've needed a lot lately, but it doesn't crease. I don't find that it sinks into any sort of fine lines under there. And I don't like to powder my skin. Like, never have liked to powder it, especially in my under eye area. I just find it so unflattering in the texture I have under there. And so I find that it lasts, stays hydrated, but doesn't crease, despite the fact that I don't powder. Ooh, and the brush that I actually use to apply both my foundation and my concealer is another recommendation, and it is one from Huda Beauty. And her brushes in general, I feel, are such an underrated product or collection from her brand. My absolute favorite of all of them that I have, though, is the Face Build and Buff brush. On the one side, you have this super dense flat top kabuki style brush, and on the other, you have another super dense, it's like a pyramid style brush. And just because it has this tapered end here, and yet it's so thick and dense, it makes it perfect for buffing and stamping in product, especially in your under eye area, around your nose, anywhere where you need to get in precisely, but you don't want to blend out the coverage too much, right? You want to maintain a relatively full coverage look, but you still want to blend it out so you don't just have like caked on makeup in one concentrated spot and then like beautifully blurred and blended makeup everywhere else. This is like the ideal brush to do that with. And on the other end, you have an amazing foundation brush. So this, and they're so well made. I just can't say enough good things about Huda Beauty brushes in general, but this, if I had to pick one, would be my absolute favorite. Onto the eyes, I actually was kind of surprised when I looked back into my purchases for 2021, have not bought a lot of eyeshadow palettes from Sephora. And the only one that I have, I absolutely would, that will change in my cart currently. Right now I have eyeshadow palettes, multiple. But the one palette that I did purchase, I really, really loved, and I'm wearing it today. It's the Melt Cosmetics Smoke Sessions palette. And it's a great green palette. There's not much more to say about it. It has both your warm gold, like yellowy gold tone greens and your cool blue leaning greens. And together it makes an ideal green palette. I love the color green. It's a comfort zone color for me. Like, for some reason, it's easy for me to treat what is actually a pretty colorful palette. It's nothing but colors, actually, as opposed to flesh tones. But I treat greens like flesh tones for some reason. They're just, using them comes really naturally to me, and this palette definitely does that, but it also gives you some brighter, you know, shinier, flashier shades to work with. So I'm wearing a combination of both the warmer and cooler tones on my eyes today, and I love how it turned out. Onto the face, I have another Huda Beauty love, the Glowish Soft Radiance Bronzing Powder. Mine is in the shade number 2 medium, and this has just been a good go-to bronzer slash just warming powder that I love to use for my face. It is the absolute perfect tone and shade for me. It is a slightly satiny sort of finish, so it also gives the skin a really beautiful, healthy looking glow. I just can't say enough good things about it. I think this has been in multiple favorites videos over the course of the year since I purchased it, so it was kind of hard not to include in here, especially as I was going through my list of purchases. I was like, that is absolutely the bronzer that is going to go in this video. For blush, another new mention from Rose Inc. Specifically, though, it's the cream blush, but I wanted to specifically call out Heliotrope because this is just a good comfort zone blush for me. It's a soft, muted rose that has some brown undertones to it, so part of the reason that I like it is it's not just beautiful as a blush, a glowy cream blush, but I also find on my skin tone, it kind of doubles as a bronzer as I apply it and like really heavy up back here and under my cheekbones. I didn't do it today. I am wearing both the glowish bronzer as well as the cream blush, but you can see in the review that I did of this, when I apply it solo on my cheek, I think it gives a subtle blush slash bronzer effect because of not just the pink in here, but those more brown undertones as well. So this for me is a really good multitasker shade and a very natural looking one at that. And then last up for the makeup is the highlighter. And this, I have been getting so many compliments from you guys about, you know, my glowy complexion, my skin, I look like, and I'm pregnant. So a lot of you guys are attributing it to that, but I gotta be honest, guys. I don't think it's my skin. I think it is this. I think it's the Rare Beauty Liquid Luminizer. Mine is in the shade Flaunt, and this is what has been giving my skin its glow. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will say, after I got over like a very early acne prone period, my pregnancy, my skin cleared up, and I definitely have noticed it looking overall better, clearer, brighter. But this glow is not me. It's not the baby, and which is good because what a bummer if it were to go away once I have this kid in a couple of weeks. they bottled it. They bottled the glow, and so you too can have a pregnancy glow, which I'm super excited about. So yeah, it's this guy from Rare Beauty. I've been reaching for it a lot lately, and it looks like it is super high shine metallic in the, what do we call this? A jar? A container? But once you shear it out, I mean, it is like a wet, balmy, dewy sort of look, but it totally dries down on the skin. So you don't have to worry about it coming off or transferring or moving your base around underneath, anything like that. It's a really foolproof kind of highlighter. So really love that. Oh, and then for a non-beauty purchase, I was super stoked when I remembered Sephora sold these candles. Forever Mood candles. Do not sleep on these. I gotta be honest, they don't sell the one scent that if you can get your hands on it, you absolutely should. It's called Fine Pine. It was a launch that she did last holiday season, and it's on the Forever Mood website. So I'm really hoping she brings it back, because it is seriously, it's like walking into an enchanted winter forest. It's the best. It is the best scent, winter scent, fragrance period out there. But it unfortunately is not available at Sephora, and it's sold out on the Forever Mood website. However, there are some amazing scents that I do like and would recommend. One of which, and probably my second favorite, is Gingerbread Trap House. This, again, I got last holiday season, and so it is a full-size version. I think the one on Sephora is a smaller, not sample size, but it's just a smaller version of that, and it's in this beautiful like maroon packaging. I really like it. It's like an updated and more sophisticated take on what I feel like is classically burning in my kitchen during the holiday season, right? I like apples and cinnamon and all of that. It smells amazing, but I feel like it's very expected. This takes it up a notch with those signature holiday scents. Like there's cinnamon. I should just go on the Sephora website and actually look at the notes in this, but that's all. It's the gingerbread, it's the cinnamon, but there's just something that's a little bit more elevated and sophisticated about it without being overwhelming or overpowering is the other thing. None of her fragrances, they're very strong in that they will fill a room like I want a candle to. Sometimes, have you ever gotten those candles where you light them and you let them burn for like hours, and you walk in the room and you're like, can't smell it. It literally smells like nothing. You won't experience that with these, but you also won't be overwhelmed, I don't think. Andrew he enjoys candles, but he more easily gets overwhelmed and like headaches and just more sensitive to them than I am, but he does not experience that with these at all. In fact, his favorite candle ever is Forever. It's Fine Pine, unfortunately, but anytime I'm burning a candle and he's like, can you put that out and put the other one that I like on? It is always Fine Pine. So all that is to say, these are strong scents without being overpowering. And then the other one that is on Sephora that I really love is Cuffing Season, and it is totally different than Gingerbread Trap House. Definitely, I think this was part of the first quad, like permanent collection she launched from the brand. And so it to me is a little bit more year round. It's not going to be the sweet and savory holiday scent that Gingerbread Trap House is going to give you, but it's still very beautiful and really hard for me to place notes as I smell it. Like it's not floral, it's not foodie. I don't know. I will put like a screenshot of what it actually says here, because I am doing no one any favors by trying to describe these scents. Do I have ash on my nose? Okay, hopefully we're good there. Now, let's talk about what's in my cart. Now, I want to preface this by saying this is an aspirational cart. This is literally like I am scrolling deep into the night and just adding what my heart desires. This will get significantly cut down, but I just wanted to share what is really appealing to me. First of which is the Tom Ford Ebon Fume, I think that's how you say it, perfume. He launched a new fragrance, and Tom Ford, his fragrances are just the best for me. There's something about them that makes them last ages on me that no other perfume can do. Like they outperform every other perfume I have in my collection. And this one in particular sounds just so delicious. Says the fragrance family is earthy and woodsy. Scent type is classic woods. Obviously, with my obsession with Fine Pine, I clearly love a woodsy scent. And the keynotes are Palo Santo wood accord, African ebony wood accord, and rose. And I have to be honest, I have no idea what Palo Santo wood smells like or African ebony wood smells like. I need to smell this before I purchase this. I want to go into the store and actually give it a sniff before and like maybe get a little sample before making the purchase because, again, Tom Ford is a splurge, but his fragrances work unlike any other for me, and if there's ever a time to splurge, in my opinion, it is during sales like these. So I really want to go in and give that a whiff because as I read the description, most of these words I don't even know that I know how to pronounce, but it sounds amazing. It's not just that woodsy, savory sort of scent, but it's also paired with florals, which I really love. So here's just a quick sampling. It says, opens with the Palo Santo, Black Pepper Absolute, and Violet Leaf, but then there's also... The perfume's core is imbued with Cade Essence and Cistus Absolute Spain or Pure. Those are the words. I've never heard those words in my life. Papyrus and florals. I thought papyrus was paper. I didn't know it had a whatever. Mix while African ebony wood is coaxed by leather. I have Ombre Leather by Tom Ford and it is one of my favorites. And resin, drawing the seductive smoke of guac. That's not guac. Gaiac wood and balsamic naturals. Again, I don't know what half of these words mean, but it sounds intoxicating. So that's on my list. Another thing that I added to my cart that I will absolutely not be buying, but do you ever do that thing where you add like your absolute just deepest desire to your cart knowing that you're going to delete it before you hit purchase? This is mine. The Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Dreams Come True set. I have surprisingly, I think I've only tried like maybe 1 or 2 Pillow Talk items, and it is like her hottest color story that she has ever created. I've tried the mascara, which isn't even included in the color story, and then like maybe a lip product in the Pillow Talk line or a lip liner, but she's expanded it to eyeshadow quads and blushes and facial, like highlight that the wand that she has. And so this is like a luxury advent calendar that I would, it's so nice. But again, it was one of those things that I was like, you know what? It's 4 a.m. in the morning and I can't sleep. In the cart it goes. I don't know. Just me. Although I will say, if Charlotte Tilbury is an incredible brand, and if you are looking to give gifts to people, that could be a good way to get a bunch of products, like shop for multiple people, right? Get it and then give people that would use specific things like the eyeshadow quad, or maybe somebody only wants the facial highlight. This would be a good way to get it all, give yourself maybe a little something, but then also get your Christmas shopping done for other people that you know would enjoy the same sort of Pillow Talk color selection while saving a few bucks, not just with the bundle, but with the sale, is how I would justify it anyway. Okay, the other things that I have in my cart are actually all Huda Beauty, which is funny because Huda had the largest share of the products that I recommended. There's just some, I think she's been on a real roll lately, and it's one of those brands that I've just really yet to try a product I don't like. Off the top of my head, her brow pencil. I don't love that. It's too thin. I found it kept breaking on me, but besides that, her collection, her whole brand is so solid. And so she has a lot of new launches lately that I'm just super compelled to try. One of which is the Glowish Luminous Pressed Powder Foundation. The brand does foundations super duper well, so I'm curious to see what that's like, along with the Glowish Cheeky Vegan Blush Powders. And I thought I wanted to try Charming Cherry and Healthy Peach. Again, I love the bronzer so much, so I figure there's likely some formula similarities, wear similarities between the two, so I really want to give those a try. And then the eyeshadow palettes that I have are her new Rose Quartz eyeshadow palette, as well as the Naughty Nude eyeshadow palette, which she actually launched last year. I know I love her eyeshadow formulas, and these are 2 palettes that they actually, looking at them in my cart right now, look like they are 2 sides of the same coin, if that makes sense. Like the Rose Quartz is the lighter version with more ethereal, soft, rosy blushes and soft lavenders, and then the Naughty Nude palette is like the sultry version of the Rose Quartz palettes with deeper roses and borderline burgundies and red-based browns. Oh, just so moody, and I love it. Both look so gorgeous, and both, if you know what I love in an eyeshadow palette, look like they offer an amazing variety of tones, like colors, textures, and contrast amongst all of those. And that's it. Those are all of the things in my cart. I am sure that will change as I watch other people's videos, as I think about how I don't need any more makeup, and so really none of this is justifiable to purchase, but we will see. Like I said, that is tentatively my cart. I'd love to hear what you guys are planning on getting, if anything at all. I did a poll on my channel a few days ago, and some of you said you were sitting this one out because, let's be honest, makeup launches have been out of control for years at this point. So like, do any of us need new makeup? No, absolutely not. But those of you who are planning on getting something, I would love to hear what in the comment section down below. And if you want to see reviews, some of the reviews that I've mentioned throughout this video, like of the Rose ink, go check that out right here if you want to. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.